I cover the NBA draft 12 months a year. I'm traveling all over the world to scout players, get to know players, interview them, everything about their background, their families, their history, trying to watch them from a young age and following them year after year, and just trying to stay on top of everybody in college, high school, international, Europe, Australia, the G League, Overtime Elite. There's so many players out there right now, so it's really a full-time job to get to know all these players and get to know them as human beings at the same time. Still 6 months to go, so a lot can change, but all three of them, Alexandre Sarr, Tidjane Salaün, and Zaccharie Risacher, are having phenomenal seasons, and they're really positioning themselves incredibly well for this NBA draft. And I feel like they're only getting stronger every day, and they're only improving their position more by more. And the more I talk to NBA teams, they're saying, we love these guys. I mean, the college class in the NCAA is a weak class this year. And so to see these kind of guys with these physical profiles, 6'10", 6'11", 7'1", with athleticism, with skill, with basketball IQ, and they're so young. These guys are 18 years old. It's very impressive to see the way that they're producing at a high level of competition in international basketball.
Alexandre Sarr is the next biggest NBA prospect, and he's French.
This is Alexandre Sarr. If you've never heard of him, you're missing out.
7'1", 7'5" wingspan, incredible athlete, moves around, moves the floor with grace, with agility and fluidity, quick off his feet, very high basketball IQ on both ends of the floor, can take a defensive rebound, push it off the glass, find the open man, stepping outside, making threes, initiating, a very good offensive rebounder and cutter and pick and roll finisher. He's a guy that I've been following since he was 15 years old, and he just keeps getting better all the time, physically, mentally, with his toughness, with his skill set. Just a very impressive prospect, and only 18 years old. He's only going to keep getting better over time. 6'10", true wing. Really the best shooter on a very good team in France, one of the best teams in the Euro Cup, and also their best defender. He's really been their most consistent player, looking, week after week, the way he performs in Pro A, in the Euro Cup. He's really there every game, making shots, almost 50% on the season, coming off screens, and just the level of aggressiveness that he's showing is very impressive. This is something that we wanted to see from him. He's always been a talent. He's always been a guy that we thought, can do everything on both sides of the floor. But to see him stepping up and playing the way he has been, the basketball IQ that he's showing, the ability to pass, to defend 1 through 4, making shots, and starting to take some initiative now with the ball, playing pick and roll, going one-on-one. That's the next step in his evolution as a basketball player, is to become a pick and roll player. And I think it's something that he wants to do. You can see him evolving on that end of the floor too. So very impressive. Obviously we know his father, Stefan, what type of player he was. And it's very impressive to see what he's developing into now.
Les qualités athlétiques de Tidjane Salaün exposées au scout et au GM NBA.
Yeah, one of the most interesting stories of this draft. This is a guy that was at the INSEP Academy and wasn't considered one of the top prospects in France. They cut him from the under-17 French national team. And to see the go from a guy that they didn't want in the 12 of his generation to now being a top 5 pick in this draft, it shows you the work ethic that this guy has, the way that he's improved physically. His shooting ability has gotten very consistent. His aggressiveness, coming off screens, shooting pull-up three-pointers, defending really everybody for Cholet from 1 through 5. Also playing with a level of confidence that is very impressive to see from a guy who is 18 years old. You look at a 6'11" with a big wingspan, athletic, can do a little bit of everything on both ends of the floor. The sky is the limit for Tidjane Salaün long term. Victor has opened the door even wider for French prospects, but what Tony Parker did for the San Antonio Spurs for many years, I mean, I think that broke the door down. And then you look at guys like Rudy Gobert, like Yvan Fournier. I mean, these are Nicolas Batum. I mean, these are big-time players in the NBA, and everybody knows it. And that's why I've been coming here year after year for 15 years to France, every year coming to watch the top talents, going to FIBA tournaments, watching the French national team, under 16, under 18, under 20. There's so many talents that are coming year after year. But absolutely, Victor has a role in what he's able to do to become the #1 pick in the draft. And you see what he's doing every night in the NBA. We've never seen a player like Victor Wembanyama before, so for sure. But we've been coming to France for many years now.
With the first pick, the San Antonio Spurs select. With the first pick, the Detroit Pistons select.
Everything is wide open right now. Honestly, it's a very interesting draft to project because I think it's going to be a very unpredictable night on draft night. I feel like there's a chance that Adam Silver steps to the podium and says, with the #1 pick in the NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select, and we don't know, which is very rare. A lot is going to depend on who gets which pick, what do they need. If the Spurs get #1, they just drafted Victor Wembanyama. Do they need Alex Sarr? Probably not. Maybe they're going to look at a Zaccharie Risacher or a Tidjane Salaün more closely, or they're going to look at a Nikola Topic, who I just spent time with in Belgrade, probably the best point guard in the draft. So I think a lot's going to be decided. There'll be a lot of trades. It's a 2-day draft now. It'll be a lot of time between picks. So it's just going to create a lot of interest. I think it's going to be a very interesting process leading up to June 27th.